Tony Manville with an Inside Special Report. Last time we looked at the devastating volcanic eruptions at Mount Pelée in the year 1902. This time we are going to look at the Yangtze floods of southern China in the year 1954 and the vast destruction that followed. The Yangtze Valley was made up of a bumbling agricultural community. They were used to heavy rainfall in the area, but they could never predict the level of flooding that would occur in the summer of 1954. The inhabitants relied on the river for resources and health. Rice was a major crop of the Yangtze Valley, and it was exported to other major Chinese cities like Wuhan and Nanjing. As the rain began to fall in April, the inhabitants could not have expected the magnitude of the flooding that would ensue. Hundreds of thousands died due to drowning and destruction from the flood itself. Those that evacuated suffered from disease, starvation, and poverty in the millions. And even the initial survivors didn't live long after. An absolute tragedy resulting from flooding has never been seen before on such a major scale. So how did this happen? The area of the Yangtze Valley itself is located near the West Pacific Ocean. Occurring in this ocean is an intra-seasonal oscillation of subtropical high cyclones near East Asia. These cyclones definitely contributed to the adverse weather conditions seen in the valley. Another factor would be cross-equatorial winds that fluctuate in strength in the area. These affect cloud and current movements. The Asian polar vortex also affects the temperature in the area, which affects the weather in the areas at the poles. The circulation of the atmosphere from north to south in the process of Asian meridional circulation affects the weather patterns. Humans also play a direct role in influencing the heavy precipitation. As we know, humans cause global warming, which means the atmosphere is heating up at a rapid exponential rate. This warms the waters. Warm water evaporates, rises, and collects in clouds, which eventually dispel the water in the form of rainfall. The more evaporation that occurs, the more precipitation will happen. The warming of the ocean is more specifically caused by a phenomenon known as the El Niño Southern Oscillation, or abbreviated as ENSO. Basically, drastic fluctuations in tropical sea levels causes the water to warm. Warm water equals more rain, which equals more flooding. So what can we learn from the devastating events of the 1954 Yangtze floods? Again, I think it is safe to say that it is always much better to adapt to the Earth's systems rather than to ignore them or underestimate their power. While previous floods prompted levees to be built sporadically and inconsistently, it wasn't until 2006 when a proper dam was constructed to efficiently hold a large reservoir of water and prevent flooding. At this point, millions have died in the last 100 years due to weather in the area. It is important to reiterate that safety measures and protocols should always be stringently followed and updated based on the situation. Ideally, no one should live in such a hotspot for a hydrological disaster, but we do not choose where we live, and sometimes you have to adapt to your living environment. We mourn the losses of the people of the Yangtze Valley and wish the future inhabitants the best of luck in navigating future damaging hydrological conditions associated with the weather. Again, this has been Tony Manville signing off.